Yo, this is crazy, you guys. Check out what I got. Create This Book 3. I am a part of a crazy big YouTube art collab. 50 artists all gonna be in this one book. I'm number 10 in this thing. I am already intimidated by so many wonderful YouTube artists that have already gone on this and artists to come. I can't wait to show you guys who I'm sending it to after me. You guys are gonna be like, what? Because I was like, yo, I don't want to hold you guys up too much anymore. Let's get right into the video.
Alright, so first I want to send out a big shout out to Caution Artists at Play. I love my little print and all my candies. Then I had to go ahead and look at the rules for this thing and just make sure that I was staying in those confines. Also, I had to mark my place on the map, but I was a little bit off. Then I needed to make sure to sign the front of the book with all the amazing artists that have already done this. When I was given the prompt to create Fear from Caution Artists at Play, I was excited to get a prompt that I don't explore too much in art. I'm a huge fan of horror movies and I wanted to somehow incorporate that into my piece. Some of my favorite horror movies are the ones with vampires, and some of my favorite movies in general, like Interview with a Vampire. It's so dope. I was also, don't judge me, but I watched all of True Blood through its entirety, even those whack last couple it was all kind of whack on it. So here's the thing, I know it was probably meant for young, edgy goth girls or something, but I liked it for some reason and kept showing back up for every new season. Lost Girl was another one of my guilty pleasures. Anyways, kept going back to the vampire idea when trying to come up with some kind of monster I wanted to paint. I also wanted to grab from that Interview with a Vampire vibe and motivation and make my vampire look like she was from the old days with her hair and lacy dress. I imagine she was turned in like 1862 or something. My Katie Cakes and I have played a lot of Diablo 4 as well, and the main villain in Diablo 4, Lilith, she has like these crazy demon horns, and I kind of wanted to incorporate some of that feel into my monster as well, so she's kind of a vampire demon-esque type of thing. Doing this painting was so good for me on so many levels. First, this is the first time I've ever painted someone screaming with anger in their eyes. It made me really think about how limited my portfolio is with most of the paintings that I've done, lacking of any like really strong emotion. This lack of emotion works in paintings like boxes, but I'd really love to explore this more, painting someone crying or painting someone filled with joy laughing with tears in their eyes. Those would be great exercises to tune my brush sword and make me a better artist, I think. Also, this painting was a great test and practice on painting small. This figure's whole face could fit under the top part of my thumb, and it was a struggle to get the details. And while it was a struggle, at times it also kind of felt fun and something I need to do more. Also nice to be able to finish a little bit quicker. While painting this and during the concept phase, I really sat and thought about the nature of fear. While this prompt guides you into painting a monster, I thought about what I would paint if the subtext weren't there and the prompt was just create fear. I thought about how some artists, including myself, can be a little introverted but still seek love for what we do. Maybe paint a phone with a new post that had like 0 likes, or maybe someone showing a painting to somebody who was blind. There's a whole lot of levels in that. Or fear of losing someone close to you, and immediately I was like, shit, no, I'm glad that it kind of guided me into painting a monster, because yo, that started getting heavy with the thought on that. All jokes aside, while these thoughts are heavy, it got my mind going on some art that I could possibly make in the future, some purpose-driven paintings, because art for me can definitely be therapy and help with emotions like fear. I knew I wanted to show both of my favorite styles to paint, and I knew I wanted to be a little bit looser with the style on this one. While I do love painting realistically, my roots in cartoonish and graffiti styles were my first love, and it's always fun to make art like this. I've been trying to combine both of these styles with my new work, the cartoonishly big heads and other elements with the more realistic facial features have been my jam lately. I have so much cooking in this new style coming soon, but for this I wanted to go full old school Chuck and even add in an older design to play with and morph a little. So many creators in this collab have their own little characters that they've created, and I think that motivated me to bring back one of mine. You may actually see this little dude pop up more often and sooner than you think. Wink wink. I wish I would have got the recording of when I sat down to do this sketch with just my pencil and whatnot. I had the biggest smile on my face the whole time. It was just me at a table on a nice day with the sun shining and me making a bunch of little frog homies doing and living all the stuff that I love. It reminded me of being in class and making little doodles, because to this day I've never been just living my best life and stuck at a crossroad because I didn't know the Pythagorean theorem. I can't even say it. The theory of Pythagoras, whatever. It also reminded me of how good it feels to not have a reference around, to have to look at the reference, then look at the painting, then look at the reference, and you get the idea. Just 100% locked in, having a good time. Math is cool, by the way. I'm just talking shit, but it would have been nice to get some taxes classes or classes on equity and inclusion, sprinkled in as well, but I digress. I'm curious to know what a lot of you would have picked for your dozen. Had it been a bigger canvas, I may have gone all out and done a full Wu-Tang Clan and all affiliates, or D12 and gone super hip hop with it. I also had the idea of doing a bunch of octopus friends. Longtime viewers know I love me some octo friends. Again, I would love to talk in the comments about what you would have done. And also, I know a lot of people tuning into this have worked on their own book too, and I think it would be cool to know some of the ideas you've already done with this prompt. Not gonna lie, I for sure went through a lot of the talented artists in this collab's YouTube channels for inspiration, and trust me, there is no shortage of inspiration out there. I said it once and I'll say it again, please go check out all of the amazing artists and channels and subscribe to all of it, because it is so great not only working on this thing, but seeing how other people approach it. Alright, so it wouldn't be a Chuck Lee painting unless I did a little bit something extra with it. So in this section, we're going to be going over the extra as we go ahead and wrap this thing on up. And the first order of business is going to be to go ahead and cut both images out. Now, with the vampire, I was a lot more stressed about that prompt, so I used an X-Acto knife the whole time cutting that thing out because I did not want any mistakes, and I just wanted it to look clean. I was a little more easygoing though with the frogs and whatnot, so I just used some scissors, cut them on out, and used the X-Acto knife to just cut out those extra little pieces here and there. Next, after I cut those out, I was a little bit worried about the book coming out, because a few of the pages from a few of the other prompts were looking a little bit iffy. I kind of did a little bit of doctoring on Dai's one because it was almost coming already out, but I didn't want to run into those issues with my prompt, so I put a piece of tape right down the middle, some really thin, clear, packing tape, to make sure that mine stays in the book. Other artists, I don't know if you want to use that idea, but it might help keep this thing together because it's going to be crazy by the time it gets to the end. Then I went ahead and put Mod Podge over the pages and whatnot. I want to do a decently thick coat of Mod Podge over the pages so that I wouldn't have to worry for this next part. After the Mod Podge, I went ahead and added the gold leaf for the vampire painting. Now, I thought that I was being cool with the frog painting and went ahead and spray painted the pages, but I realized that that was a huge mistake as I was doing it because it went right through the page. I'm really glad that I put something underneath it just in case it did do it, but I was scrambling and a little bit freaked out, and I am so glad that there wasn't art already on those pages on either side because I screwed them all up. Anyway, I fixed it. I went ahead and put a super thin layer of paper on it just so each of the different artists got a straight up blank white page to go on and not some jumbled up weird spray paint stuff. Now, both of these prompts needed a whole night to sit with the gold leaf on them, and honestly, I had to go back in with more gold gold leaf afterwards, so I had to wait a whole nother night. That's 4 nights that I had to wait for it to dry. After I got the prompts in, I went ahead and I varnished the prompts, made sure that they were nice and varnished up. I also went over with another coating of Mod Podge over the gold leaf, because like if you work with gold leaf before, you know that that stuff will go everywhere and anywhere it can. So I wanted to make sure that it was nice in there and flakes of it don't get into the paintings themselves. I also chose this time to make sure that I did any refining that I needed to do to the painting. And after I did that, or while I was doing that, I realized like so many people that do these create these books, like so many people I watch their videos and they're like, oops, I covered up the prompt. Well, I just joined the club of covering up the prompt because I did the same thing too. So it was kind of a gift and a curse, because I could go ahead and make stickers of the prompt, and I have this really nice like shiny holographic glossy type of sticker paper that I use for my stickers, ChuckLeeMBM.com. And I went ahead and made new prompts. So one of the prompts is actually bigger for the one with the vampire, and one of the ones is smaller for the frog. So it all ended up working out because I busted out my iPad, got into Procreate, and made some pretty cool stickers. I think they look, you know, just as cool as the prompt, if not a little bit cooler. And then after I did all of that, I went ahead and wrapped this thing on up. So let's get into those sexy shots and let's go ahead and wrap this thing on up.
Yo, I will be sure to make a playlist with all of the artists that have taken place on this collab, and I will update it as people start joining in and getting down with this thing. I can't wait for you guys to see the end product. I mean, I can't wait for me to see the end product on this thing. I know it's gonna be wild because these artists are freaking dope. This Create This book is a really cool idea, and I hope some of you guys pick up and do one of these yourself, especially if you have art block. So many of the different YouTubers on this collab have all the tips for art block as well. Go check out their channels. All right, so it's time to see who the next person in this collab is going to be. So I shall pass the power to you.
Thanks, Chuck. Can't wait to throw my art in there too.
Yo, Scott, I've loved your channel for years now. I can't believe that I'm passing this to you. Guys, go check out his channel if you've been living under a rock and don't know who this guy is. And I look forward to seeing what he does. Yo, peace, love, and I'll catch you in the next time for some more sweet shit.